All right, here we go. 30 videos, 30 days. No edits, no stops, no do-overs. I say this every time. I can't help it. I got to say it again. It's been a good experience. It's been a fun experience. And it's definitely been a learning experience. Maybe you could say a learning curve. Although I don't know that I'm making the turn. I don't know. Hey man, so we've been talking about a little bit about high and low ready. And today I'm doing a little work and I'm downstairs and just doing some dry fire with a 10-22. I love these little rifles, man. They are so fun. I've got a handful of them and there's just something cool about these things. It's like would you say it's a classic kind of iconic, maybe starter rifle? I think everybody I talk to has a story about starting with one of these somewhere, whether it's a hunter safety course or 4-H or something, where they started with one of these and that's how they learned to shoot, or maybe their dad or whatever. But I really like these things. No, I'm not going to defend my home with it, although there are stories. Claude Werner has a story of a farmer defending himself with one of these. And yeah, very, very effectively, actually. Like, I think 3 rounds is all it took. So yeah, these things are real cool, man. And you can learn all the mechanics. And for new shooters, especially for new shooters, if you have somebody who is maybe a little adverse to recoil or the noise and all that, this is a great place to start. Plus you have, the 4 points of contact: shoulder, cheek weld, hand. And so right from the start, they're able to control it better, make better hits, get those little wins, those successes that build, rather than starting them off with a pistol that's hard to shoot already. I think one of my trainers at a certain point said something to the effect that the trigger weight is greater than the weight of the pistol. It's going to be difficult to shoot because you're going to have to exert force on the trigger greater than the actual weight of the gun. And so that makes it so that the torquing and twisting and all that stuff to get I don't know. That's what I was told. It kind of makes sense, especially when you think a rifle will be several pounds, getting close to like a heavier rifle's 10 pounds maybe, and then the trigger's 4 pounds. I don't know. Anyway, I try to set my students up for success right from the start. And if I'm taking friends, I'm always trying to be an ambassador for the shooting sports and for shooting in general, particularly Second Amendment stuff. I am always trying to win people over and introduce them to a very positive first experience that we can build upon. And I feel like if you give them success from the start, they build on that. They stack those little wins. Like the first time they go shooting, it's one of these, it's fun, they're hitting things, they're actually making good hits, they get excited, shooting's fun, it's not frustrating and loud and concussive and all that. And then later on, you can kind of graduate them up to some bigger, heavier things, and they'll still have some fun because they understand the mechanics and all that stuff, and they're not kind of shocked every time they press the trigger. Anyway, let's talk about stairs. So while I was down here dry firing, I was like, man, high ready. We talked a little bit about with stairs and stuff. So you can see the stairs here kind of moving up from that angle right there. From that perspective, high ready is perfect. I would probably stage here. You can see there's a little bit of a landing right there. I would probably stage right with my foot right there, not breaking that cover line. I can see all the way up, and then I can break around the corner as needed. So I could stay right here. I can see everything I need to see, address someone if they're up there, let them know, like, hey, wrong house, get on the phone. I would have my phone either on the floor right here, I would have my phone somewhere nearby on speaker so that I can have a recorded line open. And everything is documented, and then I'm right here and I can just get on it. Now, I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine with a very solid background, and he said, which I agree with, when posting up on stairs or things like that, where you can't really go from a low ready, and you might not want to go from high ready, or you might want to be rifle and shoulder, his thing was he would post the rifle right here down out of the eye line, because again, we're talking distance, right? We're talking, not talking a room where somebody's 8 feet away from me, and being like this is going to make it hard to see. But on a stairwell or something like that, you could post like this, and this just simply just shrug your shoulders and you bring the rifle up into your eye line. So I played around with that here, and I thought, I don't know if I can get you guys a good angle to where you can see this, but playing around here, high ready, you can see I'm basically, with the rifle like this, if I dip my head, I'm pointing in on the top stair. So, see if I can make this a little easier for you guys to see what we're doing here. So basically I'm here, and with the rifle here, I'm able to look over the sights. Anybody that comes around that corner, I'm gonna have whole body hands immediately. I'm not obscuring anything. And then if I had to, I would just shrug my shoulders, and that brings me right up onto right about where a body would be. So I'm able to see whole body from here. I can see the whole body, and I'm basically holding at what would be the feet, which is the goal of a low ready anyway, right? So I'm holding at what would be the feet, and then I just shrug my shoulders, and that brings it up. So I don't have to move my head or anything like that. I'm moving one part still. I just want to have one thing in motion, not several things in motion. So I'm here and up. So played around with that. I'm like, that's a workable solution. So maybe you guys want to try that and let me know. I'm really interested in your thoughts on it. Now, as far as holding a position on stairs, right? So you can kind of see the area right there. I know violating OPSEC by sharing my inside of my home and all that stuff. Just kidding. I'm not worried about that stuff. But holding right there, for me, is not the best option. Maybe if my family's here and I want to hold a hard line right there, yes. I want to be as close, yeah, for a number of reasons. However, I would probably want to hold here. All right, so if you come over here with me, moving you guys around, from right here, you can kind of see, you know, like I've got from this angle right here, posted up. As soon as they break this corner, you got them. I also can talk to them because I can hear them. So I'd be able to hear them if they were upstairs. I can hear them moving around. As soon as they get on the stairs, I can hear and I can start talking to them from right there. And that gives me the option to post right here. Again, kind of a lower ready. And then right there, and I'm on it. As soon as they break that corner, I got them. You know, I can give commands. I can hold them up right there. If they break the corner and they continue to move, I've got a good field of fire. I've got everything I need. It's not as channelized as the stairs. So in the spirit of discussion and openness to being wrong, I could see where holding on the stairs is a better option. It channelizes them, keeps them there. One of the things during my time in the past, training in a tactical world, one of the trainers that worked with us was a high level, the highest level you can be in the U.S. military forces. Good dude, man. And he said regarding stairs, don't. And I said, okay, cool, but what do you recommend? And his recommendation was find a second story opening and go through it. Meaning, yeah, there's a whole other thing. Doesn't matter. But I think about that, and I think about too, if you haven't done something in the last 5 years, which is me, haven't done any of that stuff in the last 5 years. I'm not actively doing that stuff, so I am not currently doing it, and I haven't done it within the last 5 years, so I don't know how relevant my opinion or thoughts are on that matter. I don't know how important they might be, because again, if you haven't done it, it would be like me talking to somebody about traffic stops. Like I can tell you how I did a traffic stop or how we approached a felony stop or whatever back in 2018, but it's been a few years. So haven't done any in that since that time. So I don't know. I think it's wrong for me to speak out of turn. Basically, I can tell you basics of like covering, like cover lines, clearing, holding in my own home, because it's something I practice and something I think about. But as far as like what guys should do as a element of 5 or 6 dudes or whatever your element is, you know, each team's broken into elements. And so whatever your element is that's assigned to the second floor and that kind of thing, not me, dude. Not even going to pretend to be that guy. So now, to that point, the reason why this gentleman recommended that we don't take stairs and why he had an aversion to taking stairs is because it is channelized. Once you're on those stairs, there's nowhere to go. At least in a hallway, you can duck into a room. There's always a door you could kick and get out of the hallway if you had to. But on the stairs, you're channelized, man. There is nowhere to go. All a dude has to do to make your life miserable is this. Point that barrel around the corner, duck back, and just start working that trigger and sending rounds into that tunnel that you're in, and it's bad news. So, however, for us as private citizens, home defenders, dealing with criminal elements that have come into our home, holding on that corridor, holding on that tunnel is a fantastic idea. So I'm open to being wrong, whether I should hold up here, give myself a little standoff from that space versus what we just saw, which was right here. So you could see the angle before versus the angle right here where they are channelized. Typical North American building structure where I've got them channelized and I'm in here. The difference is just I feel like maybe I'm more exposed, but maybe I'm not. If you guys have thoughts on that, man, fire them up. Let me hear them. The other thing that I like to think about is if I'm here, I'm holding here, and they're coming down from the stairs. So I'm going to be holding here, the option to come up on them right here. I think it might be better to have someone here on this corner. Sorry about the plant. This corner giving commands, because then they're not really going to know where I'm at while holding on them. That's if you have the option of having your spouse or someone else in the house with you or a friend. But that also brings up this, which is, what if I hold here? You know, so as we're problem solving here and working our way through it, what if I'm holding here? Like, I'm not going to have the same visibility on the eyes on the tunnel that I had from right there, and definitely not like I had from over there. But this does give me a little more standoff. Also, here's the thing. The doors right there from my home, they most likely will be coming through the front door. Haven't thought about it, haven't looked at it, examined everything, and different preparations I've taken to make sure there's only one real option for them to get in. They're probably going to come through the front door. I know, like in a lot of areas, what they'll do is they'll ring the front door. Nobody answers. They run around to the back, kick in the back door because they believe the homeowners are gone. It's during the day. Homeowners are gone. They come in through the back door. I have made it a point to make that as difficult as possible. If that were to happen, I would have plenty of warning that someone's trying to come through the back. And I would tell you to do the same. If you were to harden your home, I believe is the term, spend a lot of time on those other entry points, because from my time, again, a long time ago, but even from what I've read and conversations I have with guys still on the job, the trend is still the same. Ring the front door, no answer, run around, kick in the back, and pillage. So what I'm doing is I'm considering that door is probably smashed open. They're doing their thing, and I find out they're here, or they find out I'm here. If I'm holding on the stairwell, there's no way out. If I'm holding right there, there's a way out, but they got to get there. If I'm holding here, does that give them the option to exit and leave? Again, just thoughts, right? Castle law, castle doctrine, all that stuff being what it is, I get it. And I'm not saying that that's by any means, I'm not saying my thought process is I don't want to do God's work, right? I don't want to put it on them. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I'm trying to minimize the damage to my family and myself. And if that damage means they would have an option to exit rather than engage, maybe that's a good thought. I don't know. Lots of stuff to think about. That's why I love this subject, because you can deep dive. It's like jujitsu. You can deep dive into a position or a submission and think of 1,000 ways to counter it, which causes them to think of 1,000 ways to counter your counter. And you end up just spending a lot of time having a lot of fun problem solving these types of things. And so that's what I'm doing here. I just was thinking about it and I thought, hey, I got to do my video anyway. So why not share this process that I'm going through? So again, move you guys real quick. So option 1, right here, kind of post it up. I don't know if you can really see me there, but option 1, post it up here with the ability to cover rather. Option 2, right here on the cover line, right, or concealment line, with the ability to cover and address anyone that shows up in that tunnel. Or option 3 here, less visual cues, less ability to address verbally, but the door's right there and it would be easier for them to skedaddle. Hey man, let me know what you guys think. These things, I love these problems, man. I love problem solving. It's probably the one thing I miss about being in that world is the problem solving aspect, the planning, the endless contingencies, all that good stuff. That's probably the thing I miss the most about it. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. You guys have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Remember, 30 and 30. It's been a blast. I'll see you guys on the next one.